News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A Missoula man has been charged with physically and sexually abusing a woman and her children. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, March 1st, 2016. And right now we have a partly cloudy sky, 25 degrees in Missoula. A newscast this morning sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville, offering the best of Western Montana living. Call 777-5387. This morning's top story, 33-year-old Wesley John Smith was charged in Missoula Justice Court yesterday with several felonies regarding the alleged sexual and physical abuse of a woman and her children over several months. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Brittany Santorno has details.
There are incidents of physical and sexual abuse against the defendant's wife and children, and they span over a number of years. They involve strangulation, pointing a shotgun at the wife's head, shoving chili powder in a 2-year-old's mouth, and making a 10-year-old engage in sexual activity.
Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst said her office issued a $75,000 warrant with the U.S. Marshal's Office for Smith's arrest. He was apprehended at a residence in Oregon and extradited back to Missoula. Santorno said other conditions could be imposed.
The prosecutor would also like the court to know that if our office hears of more contact that the defendant has with the victims, we will be filing a motion to double the bail amount.
Bail was set at $75,000. Smith's next court appearance is set for March 15th. A Hardin man has pleaded no contest to obstructing justice in the death of his 6-year-old daughter who was beaten by his girlfriend. The Billings Gazette reports 27-year-old Clint Vance Hogan entered a plea Friday in the March 2015 death of Kiomora Kiki Hogan. As part of a plea deal, prosecutors dropped a deliberate homicide charge. Hogan's girlfriend, 27-year-old Kirsten Oldbull, has been sentenced to 20 years in prison after pleading guilty to criminal endangerment and obstructing justice. Prosecutors say Oldbull had struck the girl a fatal blow. Court documents say Hogan had returned home to find the child unconscious, and the couple waited 2 hours before seeking any medical attention for the girl. The victim died at a hospital in Denver. Spring enrollment numbers at the University of Montana show yet another semester of decline, which is currently at the school's currently caught in a budget battle that's drawn vocal criticism from many different departments. Spokesman Carrie Shimmick has more.
Student headcount is right in line with what we expected, given what happened with our fall 2015 enrollment. The spring enrollment numbers are also in line with UM's budget projections. That means the work on balancing this spring's budget and then planning for fiscal year 17 continue as expected.
The numbers were not issued in a press release, as has typically been done in the past. Instead, they appeared quietly on the UM Planning, Budgeting, and Analysis webpage, showing a drop in attendance at the Mountain campus of 724 students, a 6.5% drop. The University of Montana also manages the Missoula College, which saw even bigger declines with a drop of 967 students, a 7.5% drop. Shimmick says the struggle to bend the curve of enrollment for next year will continue to be difficult, as overall enrollment for full-time freshman students dropped by 23.6%.
In the last few years, we've really revamped our recruitment strategies and materials, but it's taking time to see the positive results that we're looking for. Spring headcount is at 11,955 right now. I just met with the registrar's office, and it sounds like some late additions have brought that number above 12,000, but it's right around 12,000.
One of the largest sectors for enrollment decline are those from outside the state. International student enrollment dropped by 18.3%, and non-resident student enrollment dropped by 14.3%. A Kalispell physician whose medical services included first trimester abortions is suing the man who destroyed her clinic, the man's parents, an anti-abortion center, and its director. Susan Cahill and her husband are seeking compensation for damages to the clinic, the loss of economic opportunities, and emotional distress. The lawsuit names Zachary Clunt, who is serving a 5-year prison term and was ordered to pay $669,000 in restitution for damage to Cahill's All Families Health Care in March of 2014. Over 6,000 people across the state will be marching for the Stand Together Montana initiative today. Soft Landing Missoula supporter and Ward 3 City Councilor Emily Bentley says rallies and marches will be hosted by over a dozen groups across the state, quote, to stand against violence, fear, and hate, end quote.
Well, we want to gather to show the strength of our values and refocus the conversation to represent who Montana really is, which is a place of inclusivity and compassion. The narrative spreading throughout our country right now about race and religion that we see metastasizing around us, and we feel like we can't let it go unchecked, and we need to stand up for what we believe are Montana values.
Bentley says that those who wish to participate can meet in downtown Missoula at the X's at 5. The group will then march to Caras Park for a rally. A Havre businessman has been sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for his role in a corruption scheme on the Rocky Boys Indian Reservation. U.S. District Judge Brian Morris sentenced Shad Houston to 41 months in prison on Monday and ordered him to pay $500,000 in restitution. Houston had pleaded guilty in December to bribing a tribal official and conspiring to make false claims in order to take federal stimulus money awarded to the reservation. Prosecutors say Houston gave tribal officials cash and gifts in return for lucrative contracts for work on the reservation paid for with federal money. A string of robberies began around 9:45 Saturday evening in Missoula, according to Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh. The first robbery occurred when a woman was confronted by a man with a knife.
In the 1100 block of Helen on the sidewalk, female reported being robbed at knife point when a male approached her brandishing a knife and demanded that she give him money. She didn't have anything to give him, and he eventually ran off with a drink that she had been carrying.
The drink the man stole was reported to contain alcohol. There were 2 more robberies later that evening.
In the 900 block of North Orange Street, on that one, it was a convenience store that a male entered brandishing a knife and took an amount of cash before leaving. And then a short time after that is when the incident occurred in the county at another convenience store west of town.
Police believe the first 2 robberies were conducted by the same suspect.
The suspect has been described as Native American or Hispanic, a male, slender, apparently wearing a red jacket, a red bandana, and was wearing jeans. 5'7" to 5'9", 150 to 170 pounds. He had black hair, and the hair was described as big and curly. And then the weapon was described as a small folding knife.
There are no suspects in custody at this time. Anyone with information about the robberies asked to call Crime Stoppers, 721-4444. Finally, federal officials are seeking public comment on a proposed $200 million project to upgrade the Hungry Horse Dam over the next decade. The Daily Interlake reports the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation is conducting an environmental assessment on the proposed project, which would likely include the replacement of the dam's 4 turbines, which have been in service since 1953. Our News Talk time, 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Increasing clouds today with a chance of showers this afternoon. High temperatures will top out in the upper 40s. A rain-snow mix is expected this evening with breezy winds. Wind gusts as high as